Big up, big up, big up, my people. Big up, my Reds out there. We are going to be doing a review. I did hear Nalante try to say something, so hopefully just put it in the private chat, Nalante, whatever it was that you're telling me. I heard it right if you went live, or as I pushed the live button. But I was going to I am still going to do a reaction to, or a rating show. We're going to do a real quick one. Nothing really super involved, just kind of getting those ratings out there and over with, because we have one more game left, and it's going to be a good one, because it's going to be taking the FA Cup champions versus the Premier League champions are going to be playing on the final day of the season. It's a unique one because, as I think it was JK that pointed it out, but like it's going to be a unique one because it's going to be not only FA Cup versus the Premier League champions, but because it's that case, that's the Community Shield. So we'll be basically a prelim, a big couple months prelim preview, I should say, of what you should be expecting for that Community Shield. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more involved with some of the ins and outs of our team and everything. But like, it should be a good one. It should be definitely a good one. Those that are joining us, Red Chili, big up to you. Definitely big up to those that are joining us on the replay. Those of you that are tuning in or just tuning in or about to tune in live. I know it's a little bit of a late start, but let's just start off this way. Well, Reds, I'll say it this. Well, my Reds, it's 3 games without a win since we clinched the title. Some people are okay with it. Some people just don't give a F about it. But there are some of us that have made a point of saying, you know what, it's not any disrespect or any bit of any means of saying that we don't appreciate the accomplishment. It's more so as it's saying we like to see our team win. How about that? So, and not saying you don't, but some of you are out there looking suspect. But anyway, last night we watched a rotated Liverpool squad fall 3-2 to Brighton at the Amex. It was a game that had flashes of promise. Conor Bradley and Chiesa linking up early. I thought that was good, despite people really being critical of Chiesa. Szoboszlai scoring from literally a cross. Harvey Elliott buzzing around like he had a point to prove, like a little busy bee. But ultimately, it was Brighton who finished stronger. So all due respect to the Seagulls, they took full advantage of our lower intensity, in my opinion, and made the most of their chances. And let's be honest, some of our defending looked like we were already on holiday. So we're going to break it all down for you, the lineup, the tactics, the key moments, and, of course, every player's performances. We're going to rate them all, and I've got some things to say about that Salah miss. And also, I've also got a little update on some of the rumors or some of the things that are going on in the actual rumor bin about some of these players that are involved in our targets, I guess you could say. So let's just start with the team selection and tactical setup. Arne Slot went for a mixed bag yesterday. He went with youth, he went with experience. He went I would like to say, to appease those of us in the Liverpool 12th man community, and especially to to give a shout for the fact that he does listen to our show or watch our show. So big up Arne Slot, slot machine in the house. Arne Slot went with Federico Chiesa as our point person, as our point man. It was very good to see. Making his first Premier League start as our number 9. From the outset, it was a positive setup. Salah and Elliott were clearly given freedom to rotate, which looked promising. We saw some slick build-up play, especially from the back. From occasionally maybe a forward run from Kwanzaa. Bradley pressing forward quite a bit. I wasn't too impressed with Simicast's performance yesterday, but we'll talk on that too. We also saw some really intelligent transitional movement, I thought, as well, between some of the players, despite them not having played in this this lineup too often. But we also saw what happens when you rotate without the intensity. Switches off at the back, midfield gaps, a loss of control after the hour mark. Some little bit here and there of mishaps from our goalkeeper. But credit to Brighton, they played with urgency. We didn't, and thus we had a difference in the score of the score line, despite us going up and then being equalized, and then going up again, and then being equalized again. I'll ask this of the panel, and I'll ask this of the chat too. Kind of cool. Also, by the way, we now have a. Let me bring this in to bring it up real. I can now see the chat in the actual field of vision here, which is pretty cool. But what I was going to get into is this panel. Was Slot right to experiment rotation, even though we've already won the title? Was it right to see him experiment, or did you want to see something different from this lineup? We didn't know. And also, did we learn anything new tactically that Slot might use next season? Because this was certainly a case where he experimented with the formations, and we saw a little bit of invention when it came to some of the roles we saw some of these players play. How would you say, JK? Let's start off with you.
Right, I was sort of happy with the lineup. We gave everyone a sort of chance to get a game. So that in that way, I can't really moan about Slot not giving Chiesa, Elliott a chance. Both did play. Elliott had a good game in the way he scored, got an assist. Bradley also, and I think the way Bradley played, it was a little look at what he can do for us. The way he got that assist, he beat a few guys. He knew what he was doing. So that was good to see. Good to see. The scoreline, a bit annoyed with that. I think.
You just went out. Unless that's my feed. Big up Norm. Big up Red Armchair Supporter. Big up Red Chili again. Hopefully that's not my feed, but. Are you there, JK? Oh, if you are, we cannot hear you, or at least I can't hear you. Nalante, are you with us? By any chance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. I don't know. JK's mic just went out for some reason, or maybe he's dealing with something. Maybe Smokey's got his attention or something. Yeah, he's logging back out probably.
Yeah.
Were you okay with the experimentation that we saw on the pitch, and also were you okay with how we went about, or if we learned anything from the tactical changes that we saw on the with the selections that we saw? Is there anything that you learned, and is there anything you think we might incorporate next year? I mean, that's the key part and point of why I was making the point of these games, despite it technically not meaning anything to a lot of people, these games can be utilized as opportunities to really experiment with certain tactics, or to have players go up against teams that are actually playing for something. It's one thing for you to see a player, and Arnie's even talked about this. It's one thing for you to see a player in preseason or in an exhibition game. These games aren't preseason or exhibition games for a good number of the teams we played. Chelsea were playing for something. Arsenal was playing for something, in the sense of like they were playing for their livelihoods of being in Champions League. They were also playing for pride. In the case of Brighton was playing for something. 8th place could possibly get you in a European bid. This last game isn't going to be much of anything other than now a chance to win and lift this trophy in front of your home fans the proper way that you would like it to happen. You don't want to lift a trophy after watching a team stink it up on the field, on the pitch, and lose a game, or even draw. You want to actually see them actually perform well. So what was it that you learned from this, and what was it that you learned from this game, and were you okay with the experimental rotation that we saw?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game for Giroud. I thought Giroud was the best defender on the day. Like he proved his worth, I think. And Bradley had a good game. We got to look at Dom, didn't we, in a deeper position? Got a bit at Chiesa, but yeah, it was a worthwhile, thing for him to do, wasn't it? A worthwhile endeavour for him to mess around with certain things and see who can do what. It was also interesting to see Harvey play in the 10 for quite a while, quite a long time. In fact, it was the whole match. He didn't go off, did he? Sorry, but yeah.
To some of our dismay, we all appreciate the goal and the assist from Harvey, but I wanted to go for the win, so it would have been nice to seen Harvey maybe take a seat and allow for some other adaptations to go around. But how about for you, Nolante? And welcome to the show, Lee, by the way.
Yes, mate.
How about for you, Nolante?
Yeah. In terms of big up the panel, big up Norm always, each and every time, Norman. Norm. Look, I think the game again it is what it is. I would have liked to. I had no problem in the lineup. I would have loved to start Kells ahead of Ali. I don't think Ali needed to play. Same with Mo. I don't think Mo needed to play, or he could have been not play. He could have been in the bench, start someone else. Kay's on the right, put Cody through the middle, or just start Darwin. What have we? What have we got to lose? But apart from that, lineup was okay. So the first, I liked Sobo in the 6. I prefer him a little bit further back.
On the
Pivot, yeah, I thought that worked at times. But I think me and you, 12, we were watching the game and we were talking with each other. It's when we had the ball, there were spaces in this space with Harvey, and I've defended Harvey, but I just didn't like his.
Oh yeah,
he was. We had the ball, and then instead of just turning into space and putting forward, you're passing it back. Now there's a time and a place, and I think we lost the balance. And again, I think the players of kind of half. I mean, they're never going to say the half checked out, the half focused on Sunday a bit. Some of them played well. I thought Brighton, the first half we were done well. Brighton half done puffed. I thought Bradley was a credit. Bradley and Kwanzaa's taken a lot of slack.
I thought Kwanzaa was the best defender we had.
Yeah, he was. 100% he was our best defender all night. I mean, I think Bradley done well against Adinga. When Mitona came, he struggled a little bit, but again, it's more positional sense, but it's more of a defense collective. I felt sorry for Kwanzaa. Konate, you know what? You know my thoughts on Konate. I think if he doesn't want to stay, just sell him. And I know people like, who are you going to get? They'll be defenders. We just have to move. Like, if he doesn't want to stay, just get the money and go. Because I'm just a bit tired of Kanai's up and down, and he's doing these moments. Simicast was trash, awful. He can go. Second half, but the funny thing is, we're in control. We should have won. Mo missed some sitters, some big time sitters, and that's what's happened to him the last month. But his goals is, we should have saved the game at 3-1, but we're controlling it. As soon as Brighton scored, we kind of let the game go again. We just kind of a bit like a daisical, and then we could have. People don't want to say it. We could have done with a Trent, but I understand why he's not playing. And so it's disappointing because we played all right in spells, but again, the midfield, we need to learn about protecting Grav because he gets rampart, when he's by himself. And this has happened. This is what people want to say changes. It's not about the changes, it's about collective. It's the same when we play our first lineup at times. I've seen this since the Chelsea game early in the season. Our midfield gets bypassed at times. So in sense, we kind of need a DM. We need an actual. But Endo hasn't been used. So a little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating, but it won't change the fact that on Sunday we're gonna celebrate like we're gonna play like it's 1999. Yeah. So it's annoying.
Are you wearing purple then or something or?
Yeah, big old, 1999, what was with 2K,
Yeah, right.
What? Yeah, about that too. See,
right.
Well, no, but look, it is what it is. It's annoying that some players didn't help the calls yesterday, but at the end of the day, like I couldn't, you got old Coleman moaning about points, but at the end of the day, what would you rather 92 points again and not winning the league, or 83, 85 and winning the league? So it's annoying, but Slot has to learn next season. He has to learn with this and the team. But certain players didn't help themselves last night, and I think some are just getting forward to Sunday and party time, and that's it really.
Okay, maybe you can call me greedy because I would like both. I would like to have 90 plus. I would like to have 90 over 90 points, and also because I think this team is a special team. I think that every team wants to be gauged or admired in the same regards as other past champions. And when we talk about things, there's times when I've said things about, hey, the Invincibles were an incredible team and everything, but their point tally isn't in the top 10 point tallies, and that's with some of our second place tallies being involved in that number. But they still won a league, albeit, and they won Invincible. That's even better. But I just look at it as like I want to win, and it's not saying that other people don't want to win. I just think that it's just very interesting how people sometimes just shrug it off as being what it is. I think Bonker said it well. Like, if you're not like, what's the point of watching the game if you're not trying to watch your team win? I don't want to tune in to watch. It's bad enough I picked my team to lose yesterday because of the standards or the levels that they were bringing out against these teams, against teams they're better than. That's how frustrating it was to me. But shout out to Tom, shout out to Norm, like I said earlier, shout out to Hylor. Make sure I said hello to everyone, because you guys in the chat really do make a difference. Big up to Bonkers, like I said earlier too. Big up to Trudon, big up. 40 goals is conceded is horrendous. That is pretty bad. I don't know if it's horrendous, but I definitely think that it goes away from the standards that we were talking about being like this defense. It's difficult to say we have one of the best defenses in the league and we're letting up 40 goals. It's not consistent. But
I'm slightly concerned for Mikel Arteta's mental health, because he's resorted now to saying that in the last two seasons combined, Arsenal have got more points than what Liverpool have if you combine the two seasons. Unfortunately for him, like, that doesn't convert into anything. Like,
that doesn't convert to just
it's just the perfect.
yeah.
After
Yeah,
poor Salah, I am a bit worried about him. Like he's gone off on one, hasn't he? A bit lately. That isn't the only one. It's not an isolated incident by any means, but he's under pressure, isn't he? Remains to be seen how long they'll give him without any silverware. But, yeah, couldn't help noticing that he said that and having a laugh on it.
Yeah, Norm says that we love this team. We love what this team has done. Very grateful, going to enjoy it, but he wants to win every game. And if we as fans see where we can improve, we are entitled to say that. And I agree with that. That's a good point. I made it as simple as this, and I'm going to bring Brian and bring back JK into the conversation. I made a point of saying, because I saw Ensman, unfortunately Ensman doesn't necessarily answer a lot of my posts now in the chat, but shout out to Ensman all the same. And he had one of our brethren on, Drifty, on his show. And on the show, they were talking about, this exactly what we're talking about, the stance that me and JK took yesterday versus the stances of others that have been taking the opposite. Drifty and Ends most notably had that other side of it, calling us entitled, calling us weirdos for wanting standards or something like those lines. I even put in there the question, and it was an interesting question. At least I thought it was an interesting question. I'd love to see what the chat has to say about this. And I do have a quick pushback in case this is an angle that someone tries to bring out. But I asked them, I said, for all those saying that it's okay for us to have, kind of like go winless or kind of lose our way into the summer. I asked them, I said, if you can go back in time and you got the opportunity and you can pick either or, I'll say Shankly, actually, it's to eliminate the Paisley portion. But you got the opportunity to sit with Shankly, and you're at dinner, and he brings up the conversation of standards and the commitment to excellence and winning. Would you have the same vibe of saying, hey, it's a hot girl summer, or it's like, or hey, you know what? It's all vibes. Who cares about winning once you won everything? Do you think you would have that conversation with Shankly? Do you think Shankly would be open to having that conversation with you? I'll ask that. To Brian, and I'll ask that to JK. And you can tell me in the chat if you think it differently. I know the Paisley one might have gotten pushback from the 82-83 performances. But again, I'll say this: if you want to say Paisley, then like it would have been the easy answer is, even though we lost we lost a good number of games towards the end of that season after clinching, I'm sure it wasn't cool runnings in the locker room. I'm sure Paisley wasn't sitting back with a stogie and just been like, everything's vibes, man, everything's cool. I'm sure that was pretty hectic in that locker room. But I'll ask you that, Brian. If you got the opportunity to sit with Shankly, do you think that, and he's talking about excellence and the commitment to it?
I mean, I don't, I really don't know what to say to that. All I can do again is pretty much state my position is that we'd won a league title, and I said in a laissez-faire way, in a just look, life's too short kind of thing, we've won the league. I really don't care. And that was taken as literal, don't care. I just say, hey, look, man, we just won the league title. Whatever happens, happens, right? That was it, just in a throwaway, pass away comment. And now I've been asked, now this has become a huge, big thing where you don't care. I want to be a winner. I'd say, do you not want to win games? As I just said there's a huge difference between saying, hey, look, we won the league. Whatever happens, happens is not the same as saying, oh, I hope we lose against Brighton. I don't care if we lose against Brighton. I don't know what I would say to that guy. It's just I was asked a question, and all I know is that at the end of the day, we won this league title. So does it matter if we lose against these teams? Does it matter in terms of whether we win a league? And of course, it doesn't. To
So
me,
that's what you're
it's not
saying.
going
That's what
to
you're saying to
spoil.
Shankly. If you're explaining what's going on, is that what you're saying to him? Would this be the reasoning you would say to him?
No, but what I'm constantly trying to say is that there's 7 billion people on this planet. Everyone can think of it differently. This is just what I'm saying. When I was asked the question, Brian, do you care what happens from now on? I was like, sorry, I thought we were all celebrating a league title. No, it's like only Liverpool fans can argue about the right way and the wrong way to finish out the league after we've won it. I don't get why it's an issue. Some people don't care, some people do. I don't think it's about. I don't think this is anywhere near as deep as this. It's just someone asked me, did I give a shit? Of course I don't give a shit. Now ask me specific questions. Do you want us to lose against Brighton? Of course I don't. But it was like I keep saying, in the most throwaway, fuck away way, we won a league. I really don't care what happens from now on. I can stop reading the football papers from now on. But do you want to lose against Brighton? It's a champion that's okay. I mean, it's just I was trying to be general and specific when I said I don't care, but I don't. Obviously, I want us to play well and win games. I just mean at the end of the day, we won the league title. It doesn't mean you throw down the tools and you show up for work drunk. Of course you don't. You still go and you do stuff, but I don't think anyone in 5 years' time is going to remember the fact that we didn't play very well against Brighton. They're all just going to remember the fact that we won the league. So.
Arnie's
I don't
actually
know
been
what
asked,
I don't
hasn't
know what Bill
he?
Shankly would say to me about that. He might punch me in the face, or he might offer me another
He would have
whiskey. I
probably
don't
told you to
know
get up and get out, but yeah.
what Shankly would say. But if I was in a room with Shankly, I'd just listen to him. I wouldn't be telling him anything really. I'd just listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just one of those role playing.
Like I said, it's just my personal view on the world. It's not even football is right or wrong. It's just my view on the world. It's just
I didn't say you're right or wrong. I just asking for your opinion on it. That's all. JK, did you want to have to sit down with Shankly?
Yeah, of course. I probably agree with most of the stuff he would say as well.
Right.
But
I
for
wouldn't
me,
be arguing with him. I know that much. All right, thanks. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Right.
Have a cup of tea and that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be arguing with him. I know that much. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, he'd be telling these guys, look, win the games for the fans. It might not mean nothing, but it always means 3 points. For me, it means 3 points. So someone said to me, oh, look, we're 21 points ahead of Arsenal at the end of the season. I'm like, fucking hell, this Liverpool team are dangerous. Come on. They've won the league and they're still smashing teams. That's a big team, bro. Man City would not do the shenanigans we did in the last few games when they've won the league. And I'll see it like that. When you are champions, your aura should be champions. You know what I mean? Go on that pitch, show the world why you are champions. It don't matter if you got pissed a few days before. Fair play, yeah, you probably deserved it. But you're still doing a job, and that job is to play like champions. And in a weird sort of way, it shows that having a few weeks off mentally and just partying doesn't really do you any favors when the season's still carrying on. Arne Slot's in IB for DJing, all-nighters. You know what I mean? So I wonder if we sat with Shankly and we said to him, bro, the guy who won a star 20th, he was partying in Ibiza for a few days as well. Shankly would fucking get mad.
Yeah. First of all, he was like, where is that place?
Where's Ibiza? You know what I mean, bro?
I mean, like, where is that? You got to point that out on the map for me. But yeah, most likely, most possibly. Lee, did you want to say something to that question before we get into some of this this game?
About what? Sorry, sitting down.
You're knock at the door.
Have a game of football with him.
Frankly, and you invite him in for a cup of tea or something. I don't know.
Have a
And,
game of football with them, volleys and headers. I used to love that. You just had a goal painted on the wall, 2 posts, and like somebody would be crossing it, and the others would volley it and header it in. Obviously, past the goalie. I'd play that with Shankly.
Okay, you're gonna play games with him. All right,
Well,
cool.
apparently he used to do that sometimes when he was bored and all he thought about was football. He'd go and have a game with the schoolboys, like a kick around with them. Imagine being one of them kids. Shankly turns up and says, "Can I have a game?" So I said, "I join in." You'd be like, "No way."
Be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Let me see some of the answers in the chat. I'll read some of these answers in the chat. We can see the answers as they come up as well. Now with this new feature that StreamYard is trying to incorporate. So you're if you see, they will be in the chat or in the actual screen. But Lee said, "Oh, that was Lee. Sorry." 12 says, or Ann says, or Norm says, excuse me. 12. I do not take fans.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. I'll get there. Who said they were going
You're
to
like
take?
my mom, but you know when your mom you call into and say, "Oh, John, I mean James, I mean Jack, I mean," and you're like, "It's William."
It's
That's
William.
like,
Close enough.
She names every cousin or something. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, my mum does that.
Well, it doesn't help if you have like 20 cousins. Like, I know you have a big family, so that makes a lot that much easier, much harder. But he says he does not take fans who said they were going to take a season off supporting us seriously. Yeah, I remember some of those people that said that they weren't going to support this coach. Now, ever since Klopp had left, and we're going to support the team this year. Some weird takes by some of the fans. Everyone's welcome to their own.
I'm sure. I mean, sorry, 12. I know, like you do like to look up stuff. Somebody out there must be able to find someone saying something along the lines of, "I'll drink a pint of my own, you know what, if Slot wins the league for Liverpool." There's got to be some of those shouts out there because, a lot of it was very so. Some of the milder stuff was rough. Guaranteed, there's guys out there. I bet you £1,000 million. No, I mean, there's got to be a load of content creators out there just going.
Oh, there was.
Arne Slot, I'll drink a pint of my own sister's, you know what, if we win the league under this guy. Where are they all going?
There was a guy that actually he was on the what's that show called? It's with like
I know there was some people saying he'd be sacked by Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. He was on the show. There was a pundit on the show that was talking about Arne Slot's brilliance, and he was like, "Fair play to him. I hold my hands up," the common term, right? And saying how Arne Slot he had predicted Arne Slot would be sacked by like November or something ridiculous. Pretty wild.
Yeah, the most common one is sacked by Christmas, like the term.
Sacked by Christmas,
the New Year and Christmas, basically. Like, but there were people that predicted that, or there was others that skirted with it and said things like, "I wouldn't be surprised if he got sacked." But it didn't go that way, did it? It went the opposite way, the complete polar opposite to what they were predicting is what happened. It was beyond all our wildest expectations, like, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's a great quote. I bring up Norm's quote. But Jimmy says, "I want to win all these games," but he gets Brian's point also. And when we lift the trophy at Anfield, all the blips will be forgotten and we become the Premier League champions and the #1 club. Oh, definitely so. I understand that.
No, I just thought it basically the most important way, the most clinical way I can put it is what I'm saying is, I want us to win every game between now and the end of the season, but I'm also fully aware of the fact that in my head that once this season is over, if we don't, that won't matter because we've won the league. Does that now explain the way I'm trying to say it? I want us to win all these games, but I'm also fully aware of the fact that I've cashed my check. I've got 2 weeks left at work, but gosh, you know what I mean? The money's in the bank. Let's hope it all goes well. But we all know no one wants us. Hey, I can't wait to watch us get bet 6-0 by Brighton. I did like one thing because you wanted before you moved on from it. You were talking about. I think we can't overlook the fact that he's also using some of these games to try different things tactically.
Mhm.
And one of those things we saw last night was where Sabazlai was playing.
Yep.
And someone did a really nice piece on that today. 6 minute piece, not like over long, not AI, on how this opens up new passing areas from him, a natural ability from him just in a simple little switch. So I don't think we should overlook how clever this coach is. That he will have been trying things that the average fan, and I am the average fan. Like I'm not, I didn't spot this watching it. I just saw some trusted channels that I know saying, well, he was actually doing this and he was doing that, and this is one thing he did. I'm not a tactical guy like that, and I thought that was very interesting. We should see that he might be trying things that we don't see, watching the game. And I think, not saying you, but I'm just saying the average fan like me, that just watches the game to watch the game, for entertainment's sake, and then afterwards learn stuff about it, not to kind of analyze it while I'm watching it. And he tried some different things, which might be some indicators for next season and all of that. But um, a different version of Dom that was there, which was interesting to see, basically, in a way that they were looking at. So something, we were looking at, like, how are they going to line up? I said, well, it's just Dom one deeper. So, it shows up a range of passing from him that we don't really have now. And I think this replacing Trent for a lot of people is to do with like his long passing, his creativity from deep. It's like, yeah, we're obviously not going to get that from right back, but I think we're going to start seeing it from different areas.
Mhm.
And that in the midfield, midfielders can pass long. You bring in someone else who can do it, but I think Dom did a really good job of that last night. And it's interesting to see him open up some strings to his bow. So there might be little tactical tweaks that we've missed, and you might see again next season. And you say, yeah, but we did that against Brighton, or we did that against Chelsea, we did that against Arsenal. So at least there's some kind of use being made out of it. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean. It's not
Yeah.
just, they're not just on the beach. He's actually trying a few little things. He is actually, having a look at different scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah. Seeing how the scenarios can work, obviously work much better if the players are engaged or committed.
Yeah, exactly. It's a proven. It's more of it's pre-seasony, isn't it? It's very kind of pre-seasony.
Mhm.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like Chelsea at home, level on points, 2 games to go in the league. It's not that level of commitment, but at least it's
Right.
still a game.
Right. Hi, Lord. Definitely, you can include that in a second for us. He's got some exciting news from Germany. But
They don't get excited very easily either, those Germans. So
yeah, I know it's very true. It's very true. I was going to run through a lot of what we had to do for this game, so we can get into some conversation about some other things going on. Maybe something that Hyler brings up, or something that I bring up for what I've heard in the Rumorville. But let's walk through these goals. Goal one, obviously, Salah's flick finds Bradley, who nutmegs his man and cuts it back to Elliott for the opener. I'll admit that could have been one of the goal. That could have been the goal of the game, but I don't think it is. It was quick. It was it was fast put. You just kind of knew that the pressure was so immense that it was going to surmount to a goal. Elliott got the goal. I thought that Chiesa was sitting on the doorstep ready to pounce as well, but Elliott hit the channel and got the goal right before him. Brighton equalized. And also, the second goal for us was Dominic Szoboszlai, which I thought was possibly the goal of the game. Absolutely was a weird one. It was like looked like he was trying to whipping across.
Still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still
For-
waiting on Dom to come out because he was making the kind of side eyes to a few players in the celebration, give him that kind of, the look. If you see the set, I was like, I'm still waiting for him to come out and go, yeah.
It's kind of
I'm
in basketball when
50-50
you
on
take
it.
a
I'm
shot
still
and
50.
you make it, but you bank it.
Yeah, I'm still 50-50 on
So
it.
50-50.
Yeah, because he was giving the eyes to the players are running over, and he was giving that kind of real shifty, guilty look on his face, going, yeah. It was that told me everything. I don't think he meant it. I don't quite think he meant it.
Mhm.
But it's really
It had
hard.
a wild dip on it, though. It did have a wild
I
dip
don't know
on
what
it.
he was trying to do. If you're going to get it wrong, he got it wrong spectacularly. It's like, a weird one. I'd love to hear him. Someone's going to put a microphone and say, "Did you mean that?" And you go, "No, didn't." Yeah.
But our second half was a collapse, to say the least. Salah missed a sitter, wide open goal after Hackbo. Absolutely, possibly his best action, goal, possible goal contribution action was just that cross. The pass that he made was a phenomenal pass. He had a player on him, was able to get the pass across the box. Salah sitting in front of it, absolute sitter. I don't know what he was thinking, but he went with his inside. It looked like he went with the inside heel or inside step, instep of his foot to take it with his left, and absolutely shanked it. But then shout out to one of Nippon's best, and that is Mitoma off the bench was absolutely a game changer. I think what was most notably the two biggest actions in the game were when Dom sat down and when Mitoma got on the pitch. I think that was two of the most distinct differences in the game as we saw it.
Because I'm telling you, man, I'm still trying to find out. I've been texting people in Japan. I'm saying, what did we do to this kid? He was on a vendetta last night. He was opening us up. Like that pass between our two players, then the outside of the boot pass, then the goal. It was just, that was scary. I don't know. Brilliant player. I loved watching him. I was wondering what happened to him. Dropped off a tiny bit. I thought he didn't start against us, and then he came on. He knows that he's got something to prove. Absolutely.
Yeah, he
2 years ago, they're talking about 100 million for this guy.
Yeah. He's a little bit over that mark or under that mark now, but yeah.
On the evidence last night and what I've seen before, I'd take him.
I'll ask this in the chat. Which of Brighton's goal was the most frustrating? Was it Ayari's equalizer, Matoma's impact, Hinshelwood's winner, or Salah's miss was worse than all three? We can put it that way.
The winner.
What's that?
The winner was the most frustrating. There was no need for it. It was a step too far. Actually losing that game. Didn't feel we deserved to.
I'll go with Matoma, bro, because the way Baliba just ran, and no one stopped him, passed it. Kanate ended up going to an area where he didn't need to go, hence why Welbeck was on his own, making a cup of tea, probably a sandwich or whatever he was doing. He shot, goalie saved it, Matoma scored. So for me, it was that goal.
Okay. Let's see. Liverpool are serious about Florian Wirtz. Yes, we do know about that. I'm going to star that for you, Hylor. Because I do have a segment coming up that's going to talk about some of that. I was going to run through, like I said, the ratings, but what I'll do is just individually ask you for a rating for one of the players. And then I'll just also give my own rating as well. Let's just start with Ali. I'm not going to bring up any graphics, but for Ali, I had him at a C. Unlucky on the first goal, solid on the others. Big saves versus Welbeck. Did his part. No real blame, I guess you could say, except for there were occasional, brain hiccups from him on some of his outlets. I'll give him a C, though, all the same, because he did come with some really big saves. What would you have given Ali, Lee?
Yeah, I thought Ali was good last night. Called upon a few times. That one where he rushed out and blocked it, I can't remember who the attacker was who had the attempt, but there was one in particular outstanding save from him where he was just out so quickly. So yeah, I'd rate his performance good, despite us conceding 3. Wasn't a lot he could do about any of them. Ariari's was a good finish. That was a nice goal and a good finish. But I thought Ali was good last night.
I guess maybe it's because his maybe Matoma only tries against Liverpool because his captain was on our team. And he wants to.
It was interesting seeing him like taking Endo on or trying to take Endo on, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's move over to the left side of the pitch. Costa Tsimikas. I originally had him at D. I'm gonna give him an F actually. I thought he was relatively he didn't have any real mistakes per se, but he didn't really bring anything offensively, and he didn't really bring anything and he really wasn't anything that great defensively either. So I'll give him. I originally had him as a D, but I'm going to give him an F actually. What would have been your rating for Tsimikas, Brian?
Sorry, Tsimikas. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
JK, Kwanzaa, Mr. VVQ, as some people like to call him. I thought Kwanzaa was good on the ball. He was alert. He tried to do some of those Matip style runs occasionally. He was doing well with his aerial duels, and he didn't seem like he was scared to go into tackles. He didn't seem like he was scared to get involved in the flow of the game. I thought he was our best defender yesterday.
Yeah, it was a nice, calm, assured performance from him, wasn't it? He was our best defender, or certainly our best centre-back anyway on the night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he did a reasonable impersonation of Virgil last night, being called upon to move over to the left this time. Yeah, he did quite a commendable impression of Virgil last night, I thought, in that position, stepping into the left centre-back role. He was good, yeah. It was a good game for him, and he needed it probably, to get his confidence and that. But yeah, that bit worked out well. And all the stuff as well, it was useful from that point of view, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was certainly a case where Kwanzaa, on a day that you let up 3 goals, it's not necessarily you're going to have to take a little bit of a knock on your rating, most likely. I gave him a C. What did you give Kwanzaa?
Mm-hmm. That's about right. C. Mm-hmm.
C. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as, simple does. All right. And then we'll move over to his partner then, Ibu. Again, I wouldn't say he had any super glaring mistakes. I ended up watching this game again. But the real difference for me and why I'm rating him as an F is because he was the leader of that back line. I know you have a young Kwanzaa. I know you have a young Conor Bradley. I know you have a wild card in Tsimikas, what you're going to get from him defensively or maybe even offensively. But you're the man right now. You're the man. You're the organizer, the person that puts together that back line. And there were occasions when they were just cutting through that like Swiss cheese, and it was pretty annoying. That's why I gave him an F. What would you have given Konate, Nolante? What would have been your rating for Konate?
Look, Konate, as much as I thought had a good, start till November, and then that injury from Real Madrid, he just kind of just hasn't happened. He's had 1 or 2 good games and been more than good. Look, I don't want to be disrespectful as a certain person on the panel, on the chat. I think we know here his bozo genes came out. Ball watching on the second goal. Welbeck, you're ball watching with Bradley, and then the third goal, you're losing your marker. Kwanzaa's got to go to a 2-man, and then Hinselwood, who scored the winner, VAR check. So it's an F, man, and it's with Ibu's getting worrying, and the contract situations. The reports of him. Well, again, whether it's true or not, I'm not sure if I believe it, but saying he's becoming more like Trent in terms of acting up. So we're at a point now with Ibu, and again, like I said, and people want to do star players. I don't care if it's Mo Salah, VVD, Ibu. Look, if there's 1 year left, we need to learn. If he doesn't want to stay, then sell him. So be it. It's not be ideal, but we can't afford to let him another season on free. We need. Yeah, exactly. Too. We just have to move on, regardless, with or without him, and start again. That's it. But yeah, I agree with you. Same F.
Okay. Let's move to the right side of the pitch. And Lee, that's for you. I was going to say for Conor Bradley, I thought he performed well. He looked lively. He looked alert. He looked engaged. There was an assisted Elliott's goal early, looked sharp, but got caught flat-footed sometimes against Brighton, and missed a great chance, an absolutely great chance for him to get on the scorebooks with the goal. But still the same, I gave him a C for the day. What would you have given Brad?
I thought he was good. I thought he was one of the bright spots. For looking forward, saying what's going on here, who's going to be playing next season, because he will still have plenty of minutes to play despite Frimpong coming in. I thought he was good. The move for the first goal, if only Elliott's finish would have been a bit prettier, that would have made that goal even better. But it was a lovely move. The way he just got in and picked Elliott out was lovely. And he did have a good chance to score, didn't he? When it was Chiesa set him up, wasn't it? When Chiesa ran across the front of the box, laid it off to him. You can see he's disappointed with his effort.
Oh, Chiesa was disappointed that was Bradley. That was Bradley and not Salah. I'm sure on that right side.
Yeah, but I thought he was bright anyway, going forward, we tried to get involved, did this usual thing, and that, in parts of the game where we were in the game, and that. I thought he was quite good. I thought it was a good game for him, especially from the view of him getting back to fitness, so he can have whatever he's doing. He'll be off to internationals soon. I think he'll probably have a couple of internationals, and then he'll get to rest, but that's what we get his fitness right for next season. Hope we can, work on that, to keep him injury free, so his progress isn't stunted in the way, Calvin Ramsey, we were talking about him before. Don't want that happening again.
So, what would be your grade for him?
I would say I'd give him an A. A minus.
Oh wow, an A-. Jeez. Somebody's giving apples to the teacher, apparently.
Well, it's not the first goal.
A-.
Yeah. We didn't score.
All right. Gravenberg was up next. I'm just going to go with what I see on the screen here. So I'll go back to Nolante for this one. Gravenberg was next. Gravy helped the build up, dropped deep very well. We got to see him, do some of his best work. And that is by being able to have the ball at his feet and do what he needed to do. But again, a crucial moment, didn't track Ayari for that equalizer. There's times when Grab has kind of checked out a little bit defensively. So yeah. So I gave Gravy I was kind of harsh. I gave him a D for his grade. What would you have given Gravy on today? Or yesterday, I should say.
Definitely not a D, man. D.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get plus or minuses. That's why it was either a C or a D. So that's why I went with the D.
Yeah. Pause for the D. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But no, look, I think Gravy was a C. Look, he played better. And yeah, maybe for the goal, but again, Gravy is not helped by what's behind him and Sobol and Elliot not doing their due diligence at times. And this is what happens. And at times, Gravy had the ball and he's frustrated because no one is coming to offer him the pass. He can't every time do a turn or Cruyff turn and shimmy. Like, players need to help him with driving the ball. When we did. So I think a modest C for me. Modest C for Gravy.
Okay. Cool. It's a good question. Hi, Laura. Is Konate worth 200,000? It's a good question. Domis Basalai obviously pressed well, scored. Some even said that this might have been one of his best games because he was given the freedom to do the things that he likes to do. Wasn't really subjugated to playing, that extra defender that had to track back and do some of Mo's, light work or even right back's light work. Had good chemistry of Elliott. I like that. Looked hungry. Brian, I gave Dom a C. What would have been your grade for Dom?
Slightly new role. So yeah, playing where Mac would normally be. Different version of him, yeah. So obviously not supposed to do the other things that he'd normally do. I thought he was decent, but he got taken off. We lost the game. He had a few bits and pieces, but yeah, I couldn't be going any more than a C, really. So yeah, I mean, nice pass for the first goal, opened it up, but again, like I say, we lost the game. He was in midfield. Interesting new positional switch, see what he can do and all that, but just purely on the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at best, really a C, I suppose. So if you were doing pluses and minuses, he'd be more C minus than C plus. So
yeah, Harvey Elliott, I just saw Bonkers ask the question of he scored, but what did he do other than that? He did have technically, but like I said, scored, assisted, dropped deep to help out. Was pretty decent when it came to trying to engage in his.
I was rating Sabozlai, right? Not Elliott, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is why fans are begging for more pitch time for Harvey. Look, Harvey wants to be a starter, obviously, but Harvey would want to be included in any way that he can in this team. So if it means being a super sub or means someone that can provide, the occasional start here or there for a injured player or for someone that's like that needs to rest or rotation, I say have at it. Let's go forward with it. Shout out to Marion, by the way. Lady Marion's in the house. Good to see you, Mrs. Southward. I gave him a C, despite the fact that he got a goal, despite the fact that he got an assist. I still gave him a C because I think Bonkers was right. There were times and moments where you kind of forgot that he was on the pitch, and also you could see that there are parts and points of his game that we still need to, fine tune to fit with everyone else in this team. But JK, what would you have given Harvey?
Like, bro, he got a goal and assist, so straight away B.
Okay.
I always say like he offered something for the team to win a game. So for me, he did his job. Goal and assist, bro. So yeah, he could have done more in certain ways, but all in all, he had a good game, bro. In that way, goal and assist. So he put the team in a position to win the game.
Okay. Simple as. Okay. Agent Cody, unlucky not to get an assist for that Salah cutback. Involved, but I would not say decisive in the game. Cody's role, I think, still needs to be more hashed out for us personally, because I think that Cody can be a gunman if you give him the opportunity. When you give him the opportunity to do that, like little cut in that he likes to do, and then and give off a powerful, most likely on target shot. Unfortunately, his shots yesterday weren't on target. But he's not a creative force. He's not a defensive juggernaut. He's not going to give you a lot of that, lot of those things. He's also sometimes airily impaired. Sometimes there are times when I remember there was a ball that went up, and he went up to like try to head it down, and it went right over his head. And I'm just like, dude, you're so tall. And the guy he was facing with was smaller, and he got the ball to him. He got the ball in that time. But I gave Cody a D grade in this one. What was your grade for Cody, Lee?
I was tremendously excited when he burst past that guy and provided Salah with that glaring opportunity. And aside from that, I thought he was quite good. Yeah, I enjoyed the game yesterday. Everything's finished now. We won the league, and Slot was asked the question in the press conference, wondering, is it hard to motivate them now after the title's won? And he said, yeah, it's been a little bit, and we all know that. It's no stain on the players, on the character, right? It's just a natural thing. All the emotions and like mental energy that was tied up in winning the title, and then all of a sudden it's done, and we know it's ours. It was just natural. It was going to be a bit of a drop off, wasn't there?
So, what was your grade for him?
Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, didn't I? Cody, I would give a B plus.
Okay. All right. Cody gave you an apple too. That's cool. All right. All right. Well, Nalante, you get to rate a player I thought I rated as having a decent game, despite not being able to really get that many touches. Wasn't able to get that many shots off. I think it just emphasizes, no matter what, because I'm going to say this with all due respect to those people out there that think differently, we have to figure out what's going on with our number 9, simply because the amount of touches, the amount of shots that to produce from that role is minimal at best. And spending heavily on a player that might end up getting 8-9 touches. I think Chiesa got 12 touches in this game. I'd have to double check, but I think it's like 12 touches. Maybe 1, if not 2 shots off, got a couple of good passes off. Has to be done differently. Had a bright debut, I thought. Created a chance, obviously, I spoke on from Bradley. I thought moved intelligently in transition, also pressed was heavily involved and motivated to be a part of the press, which I appreciate, because sometimes if you don't have that you got to press intelligently, and also you got to have a press that is relentless, and it's going to give you a little bit of time to really decide what you want to do with the ball. fans were singing his name after 2 minutes. It's obvious that us fans want to see Chiesa. I mean, we think there's real promise in this player. What was your rating for him? I gave him a C for the day. I don't think I gave no one got over a C for me, by the way. But what did you think of Chiesa?
Mr. Federico Chiesa Slot, actually, I can confirm to a worldwide audience watching here that Arne Slot has a heart. He has a heart. And they've any to start him. Look, Chiesa did what he did. He didn't have much impact. I would have, again, just frustrating. I would have liked to just keep him on, whether you switch him to the right or alternative, Cody / Lucho or Mo, put him on one of the wings. But he did the little bits he can do, and obviously he had the little assist which Bradley should have scored. I thought he tried as best as he could without, really getting any golden chances. I think the other one he had was a bit of a shot outside the 18-yard, which is good, but it was a bit of a comfortable save. I'll just give Chiesa a D. I'll just give him a D.
Pause, but yes, I got
pause. Yeah, sorry, pause. Big pause, but
I
yeah.
got you on that one.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that he was taken off when he was. I thought, what's the difference? Why not just leave him on instead of bringing Darwin on for him? Bring on Diaz, but leave Chiesa through the middle just to see if he can get a goal. Darwin hasn't scored or assisted for a while, has he now? And it would have been fair, I think, if he'd kept him on and give him a chance to maybe score, because we all know he can score. Right? But anyway, don't know if we'll see him in the Palace game. He'll probably come on as top, won't he?
I think that Alexander's comment is pretty accurate about Arne bringing on Diaz, but he offered very little by the time he came on. But I truthfully thought, and I don't understand this, by the way. I honestly don't understand why Slot does this. But I would like to see him give one of our strikers a full 90 minutes in the game. He tends to sub out the striker role, whether it's moving Lucho over to the left, or maybe it's moving Lucho from the left over to the center, or maybe it's having Diego start or Hata start, and then subbing on Nunez, or it's very rarely vice versa, but even that might be a case. Could be now with Chiesa as a 9. I would just like to see a striker be able to know he's going to get 90 minutes to get a full run in and let it go, But yeah, Mohamed Salah is our last person that we're going to rate here. I gave Salah a F for the day. I know he set up the opener. Yes, but that miss was just very, very poor. Unlike Salah, didn't look sharp. I think was at times pressing a little bit more than he was really letting the game come to him. I gave him an F, like I said. What was your rating for Salah, Brian?
An F. You gave him an F?
Yes, an F rating.
Okay. I mean, geez, one miss. One bad miss.
What else did he do?
No, I'm just saying, it shows you that's a big chunk off the old score there.
Yeah.
Pretty standard kind of empty. Yeah, you're not doing close. Yeah, I suppose a D. I'd say D. Yeah.
Okay. Bigger picture. Let's talk bigger picture then. Where does this leave us? Let's see. Let me bring us in. Bring in some of the panel. I think Malante just logged in and logged out. Or JK did. Got you, JK. Bigger picture. Where does this leave us? We've already won the title, yes, but with only one game left, the maximum point total we can get now is 86 points. That's the maximum total we can get for this campaign. Some fans will say it
Do you
doesn't
not
matter.
think 12? Do you not think it would have been funny? Do you not think it would have been funny? Because everyone's saying it's like a shit league. Do you not think it would have been funny to actually just troll them and just win it with the lowest points total of all time? And say, even with 81, he couldn't beat us.
Oh, that'd be
personally,
hilarious.
even with he couldn't even with the worst points, he still couldn't beat us. I'd love to turn on their heads against them. This whole
That
weak
is.
league bullshit. This is the worst argument of all time. It was a poor league. Why the fuck didn't ye win it then? If it was such a poor league,
No,
where were
spot
ye?
on.
Where were ye? It's
Yeah.
the worst argument of all time, man. It's
That
just
yeah.
so weak.
Arteta's saying the
So
things that he
weak.
said. Arteta's saying the
Oh,
things he said.
someone needs to take him away on a holiday to a Greek island with no phones, no internet, no nothing for like 2 weeks, and just say, "Look, man, just relax," because it's melting. His brain is melting. His hair is going to start melting pretty soon.
Right.
You know, he's gone. He's done. He's finished. He's bringing up points totals from 2 years and adding them up and subtracting things. It's just like, no, that is just not a good look, man. When you're like, your friends come up to you in bar and go, "Look, you need to stop talking to her. It's not working. It's getting cringe now."
Mm-hmm.
You're like, "No, no, no, I can." No, come on, man, come on. No, she's not interested. You need to listen to your friends. He needs some friends to tell him to stop going in front of the media and saying things like that, because it's not working.
Mm-hmm. Salah had 2 shots on target, 2 shots off target, 2 shots blocked. He was 2 out of 5 for his dribble attempts. Had 2 big chances missed. 2 out of 8 for his ground duels. 0 for 1 for his aerial duels. Lost the ball 11 times. Was all had 1 interception.
Yeah, but in fairness to Salah, when you say he lost the ball 11 times, oftentimes that's like in 2 scenarios. He can lose the ball 3 times in one dribble and win it back.
He's only one
That's the thing about
goal.
Salah. Yeah.
He's only 1 goal or assist away from that record now. Well, he'll equal it. Alan Shearer, and Andy Cole, 47 combined goals and assists in a season is the record they hold together. 1 more goal or assist will give Mo that, and another one would take him beyond them. So he'll be aware of that, I think. Like, he couldn't believe he missed that one last night, because but these things do happen to all strikers sometimes. It's astonishing, but there you go. The world can be mystifying sometimes.
I'm going to ask you, so 86 points. I know some fans will say it doesn't matter, we're champions, but others will argue that the standards must stay high until the last whistle of the season. We spoke on that earlier in the show. There's something about finishing strong that sets the tone for next season, especially when Arne Slot is trying to stamp his identity on this squad. I think personally, but I'll ask you this.
Got one more beach game to do, man.
Yeah. I'll ask you this.
Crystal Palace, beach volleyball.
Liverpool go full strength versus Crystal Palace. Should Liverpool go full strength? As in, should we bring out the real put together team, or should we rotate again? Maybe even give the kids some minutes, or should it be a mixed balance of experience and youth? That's what I asked.
I think it should be the guys that started all the games. That's what I would do. I'd basically do the whole Dom, Mac, Rav, Diaz, the whole obvious 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I do it. Start the game with that, and then you got 5 subs. Use them that way. Yeah, but I'd start the full kind of, that would be the team that would walk out at home, final game of the season, the team that won you the league. Let them get all the adulation. and then take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. Yeah. And also because you do want to win that game. Palace are going to be out. You think we're on the beach? Palace have been, they're doubly on the beach. They're on the beach and they're ordering doubles and triples. So go full strength against them for the first half at least.
They just won. They just beat who they just played today.
Wolves.
Yeah, they just played Wolves today. Beat them 4-2.
Good result for them.
Yeah, Lee, what would you do?
Against Palace, I'd like to see Kwanzaa start again. We know how good we've seen Virgil a lot. I like that we're able to see what Karate and Kwanzaa are like together. I want to see that again. Do we need to see Simicast again?
Yes.
Probably, maybe. Probably, just to make sure what we think about what we think is true about him. That it's time he moved on.
Okay.
Harvey's debatable, isn't it? Like whether he sees his own future there, or it's up to Harvey, basically, isn't it? Whether he's content with getting the amount of minutes he's getting, or whether he wants to move for his career. That's what it's going to hinge on, isn't it? Like, if he wants to stay, then he'll be staying, won't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lee. I think his interview on Sky afterwards was quite telling. I think he's come to the realization that it might be just best for him to move as much as he wants to stay.
Well, it's a harsh world, isn't it? Like, as a footballer, new managers come in and, you can have loads of different bosses in a career, can't you, as a player? And some like you, some don't. It's not that Slot, I don't think, doesn't rate him as a player. It's more that he can't use him in that many ways, like as a player. So that's why we've seen so little of him. But I don't know. It's a weird one with Harvey. He has got not an abundance of talent, but he's a talented kid, like. But he just can't impose himself on games like when he starts them. I've been waiting for him to do that. It's always been like his best performances, or most telling performances, have always been as a sub, as an impact sub. But yeah, we'll see anyway. Like, not long now till the window opens, and if his desire is to play more football, then I'm sure we'll move him on. Don't want to see him go on loan. I don't want anyone trying to scab him on loan. We've done that already. If anyone wants him, they can bloody pay up, so we can spend the money.
What would be your answer to the poll then? What was your answer? A, B, or C?
Refresh the question, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'll give him the question back. Let me bring it. Find where I put it. Basically, should Liverpool go full strength versus Crystal Palace? A would be end on a high, yes. B would be no, rotate again, give the kids minutes. Or C, a mixed bag of like balanced experience.
Yeah, mixed again. I'd like to see McAllister play and Gravenberch and Sobersley, but I'm play Kwanzaa and Canate again at centre back. Bradley, maybe play Robbo again. And up front, I'd like to see Chiesa given another opportunity in any of the three positions from the start. I mean, what harm could it do? And it'd be nice for him if he got a goal. It'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Like, it'd be pleasing for him to get himself a goal. But we'll see anyway. I think he'll probably start if he does want to put on a little show for the end of the season. He'll start Diaz in the middle, I reckon.
Okay. We will be doing a preview of that. I was just going to say, Jimmy asked, will the parade be streamed live? I believe it will be streamed live by LFC TV, or Bernie just put that too.
Yeah.
They'll stream it live. I don't believe it'll be, I don't know if it'll be on your, normal broadcasting stations.
Yeah, they'll show
Oh,
on
it'll
Sky
be on
as well.
YouTube. They'll show it on their
YouTube,
own
Sky.
channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll definitely be on YouTube. Guarantee you. Well, if it isn't, then they've missed a serious trick. Whoever is,
they
if
won't.
that isn't
They
being
don't, I don't think that'll be.
streamed
It won't
live,
be
then
streamed
yeah.
over here live like that. Other than on YouTube is the best way for us to watch it.
Well, I'll wear a
Yeah,
bright
if they don't
yellow
have someone
so
streaming
you
that,
can
that'll
identify me on
easily catch.
TV.
There'll be millions, there'll be hundreds of millions, well, not, but there'll be millions of people all over the world that won't be able to go to that and will
Yeah.
watch it live on YouTube all day. So if they haven't got that ready to go, then they're missing a serious trick.
That's funny. Lady Southward went on a mission today. She bought herself some new LC gear for the parade. Her hubby said to their daughter he knew that something must have been up when she left the house at 7 in the morning. That's funny. That's funny. Well, there is some talks out there about our future players, and Milos Kerkez is one of them. So big update on our left back priority target, the Hungarian Flyer, as they're liking to call him. Milos Kerkez is keen to join Liverpool, and personal terms are nearly done. But, of course, there has to be a but in this sentence. Here comes Manchester City. It's always Real Madrid or Manchester City trying to spoil our fun. But according to I think it's called the I Papers, I want to say, it's Mark Douglas. City are now viewed as genuine rivals for Kerkez. Is it real interest? Possibly. Is it also classic selling club leverage? I think more likely. Liverpool haven't submitted a formal bid yet because Richard Hughes is playing this smart, no release clause here, like with Frimpong. So Bournemouth are testing the waters. But Liverpool are making it clear they won't be bullied, and they're not going to allow for us to get into a bidding war with City over this player. I'll ask this, and this is a question I'd like to see answered by everyone in the chat. If you get an opportunity to do it, should Liverpool just pay the $45 million, or maybe pivot to an alternative solution? I'm going to give this poll for you guys to take on and see who you think would be your choice of a selection, because there are some selections out there. There are some very good players, I think, that are absolutely candidates to be our next, to be someone that Robinson, giving away my cards, Robbo has to compete with to possibly push on. I think it's a likelihood that Simicast is going to be the odd man out. But I'm going to ask this. I'm going to bring up this quick poll here.
Yeah.
And this
Robbo in the condition he's in now is
yeah. Wait, let me ask the question, and I'll go to you first, Lee. Excuse me. But I was going to ask the question: who would you rather sign at left back? A, Kerkez. B, Hato. C, Robinson, who is reportedly still an option. If they're going to play this, play these games and make it difficult, Robinson is an actual option that they are weighing. Or D, do we just say, you know what, let's promote from within, example given Chambers or someone like that will adhere to the role. Who would you say? What would you say? Lee, it's on you. What would you say?
Milos Kerkez all day long because of his age, and the link is apparently like quite strong. He just looks a really good player, so we'll increase the volume of Hungarians here by 50% if we bring him in. We play with the international buzzy, can't he? And I think he'd be a good signing, yeah. I like the other players, but I'm like really into the idea of us getting Kerkez now to complement Frimpong. I think him and Frimpong together. It's going to be, it'll change the team a bit, won't it? And hopefully it'll change it for the better with the addition of other players during the window. But it's exciting, isn't it? Getting linked with players very early, like, and it seems like we're doing things behind the scenes, which is encouraging, isn't it? But yeah, Kerkez for me made that 2-1 because I've been watching quite a bit of him lately in the compilation videos, and he is a really good player, good defender as well. He'd be a good replacement for our own.
Everybody's, I see people are putting in their adjustments to how they would. Yeah, I know. Dara, I hate polls isn't here. Yes, I know. Hylor says, Bonker says he would take Owen Beck and just pay for Kerkez. Norm says Kerkez and Hato as his choice. Bernie says Robinson is established, but age is going against him compared to the other two. She doesn't mind Kerkez or Hato, but both very talented. High Lord says he would go Kerkez. Okay. Okay. All right. Marion wants to bring in Sesko for other reasons. I got you, Marion. Who would you go for in Alante if you had to bring in a left back?
To be honest, any three of them would do. So I won't complain. Whoever comes, let's just say they're all available, I wouldn't complain. But my one probably be the least out of the three people will get will be Hato because he's younger. Obviously, he's raw at 19, but he can cover centre back and left back, and his potential will go further than both of them, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, Jarrell Hato, versatile backup. Could be also maybe even a Kwanzaa replacement. Now, this is where things will get interesting. I know Ajax's Jarrell Hato is rated by a lot of people. He's a wonder kid. He's 19 years old, Dutch international, left-footed, can play both center half and play left back. Has been heavily linked again this week by Paul Joyce and James Pearce have both heavily linked him to a move to Liverpool. It seems the Hato links are just about left back depth. It could be insurance for Jarrell Kwanzaa. Why I say that is because there is a massive update here. According to, originally I thought this was going to be Hylor's, Hylor's Germany update, but according to Sky Germany's Florian Plattenberg, he says Liverpool haven't ruled out selling Jarrell Kwanzaa.
That's just silly.
Several Bundesliga clubs are interested in taking the player for their own. Newcastle are also one of those teams that are still lurking. We all know that Kwanzaa was the linchpin to possibly bringing in Gordon at one point. I'm glad that fell apart. But with Konate and Van Dijk both expected to extend, you can see how this might play out. If Kwanzaa were to go for, let's say, anywhere from 35 to 50 million, it sounds like good business, but only if we can replace him. Now, I know that they're on Beijing Red's show. They were talking about, they're calling me out in the chat. because you know, I've been critical of Konate this year. His availability, I was critical of him last year more so than this year. But his availability has been improved upon. So the one part and point, I see Pops is in the house. Good for that.
Good timing.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And I have been critical of some of his play this year, occasionally, but not so much to the point where I've said that he's been, you know, that we need to sell him at all and he's done or anything going crazy like that. But I don't want to be held ransom, as we spoke on earlier. Look, if you think this is your club and this is the club that you want to move on with and move forward with, Konate, there's a place for you here. Definitely, let's make it happen. Extend your deal. Let's get it through. I don't think you're a 200,000-pound center half, unfortunately. So if that's your bottom line number that you will only agree to, then maybe we have to figure out something else. But all the same, if there were players out there, I'm a big Bastoni fan. I think that it was in March when it was put out there that the price tag to get him would be 60 million euros. When I heard that number, I'm like, hey, Chiesa, go holler at your boy, you know, and make that happen. That'd be a phenomenal. I wouldn't even say replacement for. I mean, some could say he could fill in for Virgil van Dijk, much less if he were to be the counterpart to play alongside Virgil van Dijk. We'd have, hands down, I think, the best center half pairing in the world, much less in the league. And I think that that's an argument to be made for even with Konate. But there have been sorted again options. I could put these reported options in the chat for you. And I'm going to ask the chat, and I'm going to ask you in the panel who you would choose in this list as well. Give me 1 second to properly put out the names and see where. Sorry about that. I don't. Once we make the 1,000 sub mark, I'll be able to do these polls a lot easier. I have to do them by hand. All right, so these are the players that have been also linked. If Konate, because I know Pops was talking about in there, he was asking, well, who do you think is better, or who would you replace him with, or the likes. There are some players that are reportedly linked to us as being possible replacements if he were to part ways with us. We spoke on Jarrell Hatto. Jared Brantwaite is still an option, despite the fact that he would be a heavy price tag associated with him, considering it's a rival, considering that Everton do rate him very, very highly. And then we have Leverkusen's Hincapi, excuse me. Arojo from Benfica is also heavily linked, actually, to us. There is 2 players from Bologna that are being looked at, Sam Bukema, and then there's the player that I know Lee likes and has been kind of raving about, and that's John Lukumi. So any of these names really interest you?
Yeah, the Colombian fella does still. Just for the fact that I like South American centre backs and the potential of him being a hit for us, like, it's pleasing to me. if we bought him, he got the man of the match, didn't he, in the Italian Cup final? Apparently he's had a decent season. Yeah, I like the idea of it because he probably wouldn't cost that much, would he? Off Bologna. I mean, Italian clubs do. We never give it anyone on the cheap, but we could probably get him for about, I don't know, 35, 40 million, something like that.
Okay. How about for you, Nolante?
It's a difficult one, but I'm gonna go with my guy. I'm gonna go with Juro with Hato again.
Okay.
Shout out to Braithwaite though.
Okay. How about for you, Brian? I see that Norm said Hato. I know that that's his guy. He's very heavy on, highly ranked on him. And Tom, I do agree with you. I would go all in for. I would sooner go for Robinson. I know that's kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit, considering he is a little bit older than Kirkes. But if we can't get this Kirkes deal across the line and it ends up being whatever it is, I would certainly go for Robinson as a no-brainer to spend extra cash, whatever we have to get Robinson in the door. What would you say for this poll, though? I'll ask you, JK, because Brian's talking to someone in the background. I'll ask you, JK.
Out of that list, Hato, and also the left back list, I think when you can get a guy who can play two positions, it's like you're saving money. I think it's good to have players who are very sort of versatile. You can play one or two, maybe three positions. And Hato for me is that guy. I think Braithwaite, top player. Kirkes for me is also a top player, but for me, I just don't understand how modern day football is talking about players leaving this team to go to another team while they're still at a club and the season's still sort of going on. It's just like it never really used to be like that. Because of maybe social media and stuff, you know what I mean? They're putting out news all the time nowadays. Works this, works that, works this, blah blah blah, but for me, it's not really fair on the teams they're playing for already.
Okay. What?
I think in the case of Jared Branthwaite, it'd be like over my dead body with David Moyes. He would rather die than sell us Jared Branthwaite. And if he did, the deal would be, the fee, the asking price would be outrageous. I still like Hincapie. I think he's a useful player. Still another teammate. Well, he's a teammate of Frimpong's, right? But
just do a Leverkusen raid, apparently.
Now, despite not seeing him much, I haven't seen a lot of Hato. I've seen players that, well, the others have seen if we've played them or whatever, and that's about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Tyler says Hato is more versatile than Kirkes, so it's more than a 2-in-1. It's more than a 2-in-1 solution. But Kirkes' trajectory, is so big and he's primarily proven. I know that word is often used quite a bit. Would you sell if a team came up and offered us £50 million for Kwanzaa? Would you sell him?
I wouldn't. I think potential-wise, he could be a top player. It's all about concentration levels. Centre backs. And I think his ceiling's pretty high, bro. Back in the days, I had him as like the number one with the most potential. Hence why you got that name, BVQ. Because we've seen something in them. And I think sometimes when you hype up youth players, the hype gets to them and their chest sticks out a bit more. And attitude comes with it. And what happens, the game also fucks up. So for me, I hope Kwanzaa is a guy who could be a future regular centre back for Liverpool. It all depends on him. Also, the manager playing him, of course, but you know what I mean.
I mean, the point is, we need centre backs coming in, not going out. We don't need any outgoings. Thank you very much. We keep the ones we've got and get another one, please. And then next season, I'll be confident in our options with 5. Come on, City have got 7. We need 5 at least. City 7. Yeah.
7. They all play left back, everything.
Okay. Nolante, would you sell him for 50 million?
Jero, only if we're gonna get someone that's better. If not, I'd rather we keep him and let him to be a Liverpool, steward. He's only 21. Like I said, he's only get better. I just don't understand selling him.
Would you loan him to the Bundesliga?
No, he doesn't need a loan. No. He's played team enough games. A loan won't do anything. Yeah, it might give him confidence, but I don't want him to be set back because I'm not sure with Slot and the academy players. No, keep him, man. We need him. At the end of the day, he's fit 9% of the time. He's still a good player. I just don't get this understanding with some of our fan base and reports that we're going to sell him. Unless you're going to give me a world-class Diem or Bastoni, then no.
Well, that's what I would want to see be utilized. If we were to get 50 million for him, be like, cool, thank you for the 50. Hey, Bastoni, let's get the 60 million over to them and make it happen. But another player then, speaking of another player, let me take this poll down. Okay, nice words. Thank you. Appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. New name I haven't seen before. When it comes to Germany, we also have the rumors of what actually, I think I can bring it up too. Big up Honesty. I see putting it in there too. Okay, he's got another one. There are Liverpool are serious about Florian Wirtz. The bosses and football bosses, Michael Edwards, are to fly to Boston this week. Reason for the visit: the English want to get the figures for the Wirtz transfer. I don't know what that means by the English, but okay. And there's also this little tidbit too. Atletico Madrid are targeting Darwin Núñez, who's open to the move. They've spoken and have his approval, but still need to negotiate with Liverpool. That's according to Tala Radio. I don't know if that's a reputable resource or not, but it could make a difference. Núñez goes, and maybe Núñez goes, and we work out a deal, and we get Florian Wirtz. Or excuse me, not Florian Wirtz. We get Julian Alvarez. That'd be a nice little come up, I think, if we were to be able to, basically virtue trade strikers. Obviously, it'd be a situation where we most likely sell them Núñez for maybe 35 million or something, and then get a reduced price on Alvarez, being we can get him for, let's say, 75 million or something like that, 65 million. Because honestly, that's like taking the 30 or 40 million that they would have had to pay for Núñez off the books. But I'm going to ask this. Here's the, like I said, some real exciting news. Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Daily Mail's Lewis Steele says the noises are positive, or the noise that's being generated is positive, and that Liverpool have presented their case to Wirtz. But Bayern Munich are still the favorites. What is also notable is that Manchester City have pulled out of the race for Florian Wirtz. And we know that the Bundesliga pathway rarely ends outside of Bavaria. Still, I don't think it's a bad thing to try to imagine Wirtz behind maybe a Nunez, or maybe he's leading the line, or maybe even Julian Alvarez in front of him, flanked by Diaz and Salah. I think that's fantastic of a front line.
I'm sure there's an awful lot of fans that would rather that he came to us than move to Bayern Munich. Sorry, I meant Leverkusen fans. There must be a lot of Leverkusen fans, and probably people like in their boardroom and stuff who like would rather sell him to Liverpool. Just depends if we can outbid them, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not outbid them, out-appeal them.
Mm-hmm.
We will have more appeal, hopefully.
What would you be open to seeing a front line of Diaz, Alvarez, Salah, and Wirtz? Would you be open to seeing that lineup? Would you be excited to see that lineup? I'll put it that way. I'm sure everyone will be open to it, but would you be excited to see that lineup? Would that be something that you'd be excited to see? Lee, we'll start with you.
Most certainly, yeah. That and other ones with Wirtz involved in them, yeah, for sure. I'd be very excited if we could pull this off. It'd be massive, wouldn't it?
Would you do that deal if it required us spending pretty much? I'm not trying to trigger anyone. But if it was a case where we spend $200 million on this quote unquote war chest. Now, it's being reported that they want 100 to 125 million, but it's supposed to be euros that they're willing to the lowest they'll go is 100 euros, but they want 120 euros is what they're looking for. Or 120, 125, something like that. If it was to be Bayern Munich, however, Bayern Munich will have to pay a Bayern Munich tax and pay 150 million. It's being reported. So it's obvious that Leverkusen understands that they're going to make a good chunk of money wherever this player ends up going. But if it's going to be their rivals, then they're going to have to pay out of. They're going to have to pay extra to get it across the line. So, would you, if it meant, let's say, that takes away 2/3 of our transfer budget, would you make that move on those two players? Brian, I'm just going to mute Brian until he's ready. Sounds like he's got something going on there. Sounds like he's at pool or something.
Work.
Maybe he's at the beach with the rest of the players. I don't know. But Lee, would you do that?
If it meant
Sorry, I didn't realize I'm mute. Sorry.
He's bad.
If it meant we didn't have any money to spend on other players, I probably would err on the side of caution there and not spend it all in one place. But the idea excites me. Like there's no doubt of that, of having Florian Wirtz. It's just that if I had to, if it was at the price of not buying players in other positions, then I don't think we'll go for them. I'd try and get more players, spread the money more evenly. But it's a great link, it's a great idea. Like it's excited a lot of people, isn't it? And the fact that we're in the conversations, good. That it appears that he would actually consider a move to us. Apparently, that's still wants to move to Madrid. He's waiting for Madrid to come in for him. Like, if
who's this now?
Angelo Stella, the Stuttgart bloke.
You're talking about Stiller. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, he's waiting for Real Madrid to come in. Like,
good luck to him. Yeah, good luck to him.
Xavi will be aware of him, won't he, from playing?
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will be. How about for you, Nalante?
Yeah, I mean, it's
If it meant, we already got Frimpong pretty much. If it meant that we were really going, because not often do you go out there and get 5, 6, 7 players, you know, and in a revamp. But let's say we're going to cap it at 4. Obviously, that would mean that some players would have to leave. But if it meant 35 million, let's say 45, so that's like let's say we spend about 250 around there, right? And it means that that would mean that getting these 2 players, Isak and Alvarez, you would only be able to get one other player, maybe Kirk has across the line or something like that, and that's it. Would you be happy with that summer? Delonte, there?
Oh, you talking? Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're talking about Alvarez and Works. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everyone will be happy. Just the question, but we will get them both. I mean, I don't think so.
Okay. Brian?
No, I think we have the money to go for one big player, like 100 million player, and then also do the other stuff we need to do. But if the option, I don't know, I missed the start of, but if the idea is you said Isaac and Alvarez, did you mean Verts and Alvarez or Verts and Isaac, or did
I
you
didn't say
mean
Isaac.
and Alvarez?
I didn't say
No,
Isaac.
just a secondary base. Isaac and Alvarez was what the 2. So.
No, I said Florian Wirtz and Alvarez.
No, rewind it back. Seriously, that's what I was thinking. Oh, you mustn't have meant Isaac and Alvarez. So it's Verts and
I don't know why
Alvarez
I
were
would
the
have said
2.
why I would have said Isak.
No, honestly, that's what I'm just saying. I knew you didn't mean it. It was just a slip of the tongue. So it's Isaac and Verts is the question, or Alvarez and Verts?
Alvarez and Wirtz.
Yeah. If that meant we could only get Kirkes, if we got Alvarez, Verts.
Since we already got Frimpong, pretty much done.
Yeah. I mean, and we still had money left for another defender. Yeah, I'd go for that. Yeah, that'd be all right. I think it'd be cool.
But obviously, that would mean that would mean you have to keep
exactly. No, that's it. It's only one more.
We'd have to invest in. We'd have to shell out the 200,000 most likely to keep Konate, because that would leave us very, very thin.
Of course, yeah, we're doing that anyway. Yeah, doing that anyway. Definitely. Yeah, no. If he'd said between now all we bought was Isaac or Alvarez, Verts, Frimpong, Kirkes, and we extended Konate, I think that'd be okay. I'd go for that. And then we can do more next year. Yeah.
Okay. JK, you're the last on the bill here. What do you think?
I can't honestly see us really putting a big amount of money into our transfer bucket, you know. I think if we get one big name, I could see us doing that. I can't really see us doing like a Alvarez, Isaac sort of move. Is Wirtz sort of a player that we really need? And we really need a number 9. If we get Wirtz and then buy Isaac or whoever up front, then I'll be a little bit worried, you know.
Okay.
But I could see
does bring versatility that you're talking about, though.
Say again, bro.
He does bring versatility that you're talking about, that you're saying that you value from Hato, in that he brings versatility. Excuse me, by being a player who can play the 10, can play the 9, possibly, maybe even play a wide position.
He can play in a few little positions. He's a top player. But I'm just thinking about the 9 position. Hopefully we get a player in he's going to cost a bit of money, whoever it is. Sesko, not for me. These type of guys, you know. I want to real number 9. If I want to get a Wirtz in, I want a guy who he can play with. You know, so it depends.
Okay.
I think you might be waiting a while.
Yeah.
I think.
I can see us buying like. I mean, I don't see us buying a centre forward. We would buy a central. I mean, an upgrade on Jota, and that to me would be Verts as a false 9, not a 10. That's where I see it. We're not going to buy a Gyökeres, and he's that could work because he can play as a false 9. He can drift left, but yeah, I don't see us buying a target like we have a target man. Whether he worked under Slot or not, it's not just all about that. I mean, we obviously don't play with that style of number 9. So I see us buying a attacking midfielder as opposed to Gyökeres or a Darwin or a Sesko or I don't know, even a Chris Wood, to be even extreme about it. I just see us playing, I'd much see us pay like 100 million quid on a Verts, play him as a false 9, 2 wingers off him, as opposed to, yeah, like the more out and out number 9s of the world. So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't see that happening, JK. Maybe we will. I mean, I've been wrong more often than not, but the way I see it is more of a false 9, number 10 type guy than an out and out Darwin, what would be like stylistic replacement. I just think more of and Verts then off the left. He can do that as well, but just I can see spending someone more in that area rather than the big man up top. I don't think we're going with the big man up top. I just don't think that's what we're going to do.
It is intriguing to think about how Arnie would want to use him and how he could use him with all the other players that we've already got. I'd be perfectly happy for us to spend a lot of money, as much as it takes, as long as we could, afford like say 3 other players alongside them. So if one of them's Frimpong, we could have 2 more.
Well, there is some final news roundup that I wanted to do in case you missed it. Excuse me. One of our, I would call this player certainly a club icon. I don't know if he might be a legend to some. He might not be a legend to others. But Pepe Reina has retired after a legendary career of 25 years between the sticks. There is a interesting headline out there that has Stevie G linked with a return to Rangers. Could be unfinished business that he wants to take care of. There's also Jack Grealish's future, is got a big question mark over it. I would ask the chat to tell me, is Jack Grealish the biggest 100 million pound flop? And there is also word that Decore leaves Everton on a free. Apparently Curtis Jones has scared him off there and made him decide to leave Everton. He doesn't want any of the smoke from Curtis Jones, maybe. I'm going to ask this. What's the biggest story out there? Not like story like that I just mentioned. Those 4, what would you think is like the one that piques your attention? Pepe Reina, Stevie G, Jack Grealish, maybe even Decore leaving Everton. What's got your interest? Lee, we'll start with you.
Gerrard's mooted return to Rangers. That's an interesting one. Pepe hanging up his gloves. Yeah, he's a good goalie for it. He was an upgrade on what we had before, and wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Decore's left Everton, has he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He said enough of this SHIT.
Yeah, I would pick the Gerrard story as the most noteworthy of the bunch.
Okay, so is Stevie G for you? How about for yourself, Nolante? Which one of those stories would make you say, let me hear some more about what's going on with that story? You got Pepe Reina, Stevie G, Jack Grealish, or Decore to choose from. Okay, or maybe JK will answer that one for us. JK?
I would say the Reina one.
Okay.
The guy's still playing football, bro. And look how many years ago he was playing for Liverpool. So that's a bit of a mad one.
That's mad. 25 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
Active in football. Actively
Think about
playing, by the way. Yeah.
Don't forget he played against us, didn't he, for Barcelona in the UEFA Cup semi-final when we got our treble in 2001. Pepe was in goal, one year at Anfield. And in their stadium, like, he played both legs. But yeah, it's a long time ago now. Yeah, he's a good goalie, Pepe. Really made mistakes.
Is he a legend or is he an icon or like?
Well, see, he wasn't in the Champions League winning side, but he came after that. But because he's associated with that time, I think of him as being a bit legendary.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't make any mistakes. He was a really good goalie.
With his feet as well.
Yeah, he was excellent with his feet, Pepe. Yeah,
I think
he gives him legendary status. Yeah, he was good enough. I think he was good enough as a goalie to get in like a number of, say, I don't know, 10 to 15 who've been really good, and he would be in that number, yeah, somewhere.
Okay. And for me, bro, the Gerrard situation, don't go back there. Someone will be like, "Oh, look, he left us to go Villa," and they may forgive him for that. I'm not a big fan of that for him. For me, I'd rather him go to a championship side, maybe try to promote him, and that way get into the Premier League. But for me, I wouldn't go back to Rangers. He won him a league. What else can he do? You know what I mean? And he went to Villa. Villa are not the biggest club in England. They're a big club, but still, he wanted to come to England. So for me, he should stay there in England now and pick a club that won't really stress him out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Stevie G is yours, or Pepe Reina was your story. Which one did you go with? Stevie G, you go Pepe. Okay. Brian, which one of those stories has your attention? Or even if you want to bring up, I'll give you a fifth choice. It could be this. Apparently, it's official. Manchester City have confirmed they will be erecting a statue of KDB outside the Etihad. That's according to Fabrizio. Maybe they're trying to secure the fact of him not playing for another Premier League team. It's kind of difficult to play in a stadium. You know, play as an away player in a stadium where your statue's outside. That must not be easy. But what's one of those stories has
Wouldn't be the first time. So he's announcing statues now, is he? He's not just announcing transfers; he's announcing statues.
I guess so.
So was that Here We Gold? What is it? I mean, this guy's out here fucking. He ruined the Ballon d'Or 2 years ago by announcing that before it was he's utterly shameless, but now he's announcing statues. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, don't give a fuck. None of them are overly interesting. Stevie going back to Rangers. He's still held in high regard there. It's probably the only time it's ever really worked out for him. Well, no, it is 100%, definitely. It went badly wrong at Aston Villa. It went badly wrong in Saudi. I can understand why he would want to get back into it. Maybe sometimes we just have to expect the fact that he's not really that good a football manager. Maybe he's not an elite manager. So do you want to be the guy, the team that's next to suffer from his reputation? He's never really done anything apart from Rangers, which was bizarre because he did incredibly well at Rangers. He didn't just go there and kind of like fluke a league. He did brilliantly there, and he did brilliant in Europe with them. Now, there's a lot of stuff about him and Michael Beale. Yeah, they had a good relationship, but it wasn't just some one-off league. He did really well in Europe, but everywhere else he's gone really, really badly. So it's a strange one. Maybe with some good coaches around him and he can rebuild his career. But like JK is saying, don't go back to Rangers because you won everything there. So go somewhere like in like the Championship or League One at the top and kind of work your way back up again. That's what I'd rather see him do. Yeah, because he's got that big name thing going on where it helps you get jobs, but in the press, if you're at a small club, it also makes you a huge target as a manager. So he's kind of got to rebuild his reputation, especially since Villa. So I don't know. Fair play to him if he wants to keep, because he doesn't have to. I mean, the money he made in Saudi, he could just retire tomorrow. He'd never have to work again. So to go back into the spotlight in England with all that pressure, because he's a big name. They've lost 2 games. Stevie Gerrard, he's a story. A lot of pressure. So fair play to him if he wants to get back into that game, because he doesn't need to. He's made his money 10 times over. He can just go on TV and all that. But
I'm imagining that he wants to go back to Rangers. He needs to go back there, and stay there for a while before attempting to manage in the Prem again, and hopefully make them even more competitive in Europe than they usually are. That could catch someone's eye. If he went back to Rangers, started winning the league a lot, but also made them more competitive in Europe, and took them an extra step further than they normally.
And Lee, knowing the kind of character Gerrard is, there's no way he's throwing the towel in now. There's no way to be honest, just knowing him, he's not going to go, oh yeah, fuck it. Like I'm just saying, I've made a load of money now. He will still have that fire inside. No, people see me as a failure as a manager, which they do. They do. They absolutely do. So he'll be prepared. To me, knowing Stevie, he'll be like, no, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. And in 10 years' time, yeah, he could prove everyone wrong. Maybe he started too early or too young. Wrong decisions, but I don't see that he's giving it up. He's not just going to take the pundit paycheck. I think he will definitely try and rebuild.
Yeah, I think
Frank Lampard did. Like Frank Lampard, he was a joke. He is a joke still, but he's done a brilliant job at Coventry this year. Gerrard will be looking at something like that, thinking, no, I will change people's opinions. He'd be looking at a company getting the Bayern Munich job. He'd say, look, I can still. I don't know, but I hope it goes well for him. I hope he continues to be a manager. But
does anyone know where Scott Parker is now? Is he still in management? Because I know he was sacked by Bournemouth after we hammered Bournemouth at Anfield early in the season a couple of years ago.
Burnley. Yeah,
I was in Burnley, is he?
Yeah, he's at Burnley.
Yeah. He wasn't a bad midfielder, Scott Parker. Got capped for England and that. He was quite tidy. Yeah, he was a decent midfielder, actually, Scott Parker.
Oh, Scott Parker was at before that was at Fulham, I thought. Maybe.
Yeah, he did Fulham, he did
He did Fulham
Bournemouth.
too, right? Okay.
Oh, he's been all over the shop, yeah.
But he got sacked. I know why he got sacked from Fulham.
Yeah, he got sacked after we beat them 9-0.
Yeah.
He's done Fulham, he's done someone else as well.
Bournemouth was the one where we won 9-0 and he got sacked on it. He was Bournemouth manager.
No, it was Fulham.
And like
It was Fulham. It wasn't Bournemouth. It was Fulham.
No, it was the Bournemouth one.
No, he was the Bournemouth manager after we beat them 9-0.
Oh, maybe it's that then. Okay. Who was the one of? We beat Fulham pretty badly too. He was at the helm.
Not 9, no, that was Bournemouth. No.
He was interviewed on the pitch afterwards, and he's saying, if the board don't invest, they can expect more results like this.
Like this, yeah.
And he'd already had, and he was sacked within about 26 hours. Basically, it was like the next day. It was like, wow, have you ever seen a manager resign on the pitch without knowing he's resigning on the pitch before? It was like, yeah, watch this post-match interview where he goes, yeah, they think this is bad. It might even get worse. And they're like, really? Well, no, you're gone. He was out. Yeah, good old Scott. But I just remember him from the McDonald's ad. He was the kid in the McDonald's ad that was doing the keep you uppies. That's always going to be Scott Parker to me. Played for Chelsea.
Really? Yeah, he was in an advert for real when he was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, do you not remember that like iconic McDonald's football ad where there's like a kid in the back garden doing keepy uppies, and he was like basically the Milky Bar kid of football. McDonald's. It was like a competition for McDonald's. It's like this class iconic ad. Yeah, it's like basically it was like the thousands of kids across England, blah blah blah, and this guy got picked, and he was only about 11. And it's a McDonald's advert for like a football thing that they were doing at the time. It was huge. And it was him basically in the garden doing keepy uppies. And he was only like 11 or 12 at the time. Obviously, loads of kids had tried out for it. He got picked. And he ended up being Scott Parker playing for Chelsea and all that. But he was like famous as a kid for being like the McDonald's football ad keepy uppies kid. He was doing it. That's how I remember. That's what I always think of. I think of Scott Parker, like literally the Milky Bar kid of football. But yeah, you remember if you saw it, you'd remember. It was a big campaign for McDonald's football in England.
You know what, mate? I probably have seen it, but like it just didn't register that it
was. It was all over telly. Yeah, no. If you saw it now, you'd be like, oh yeah, that thing. But it was like, yeah, there was like thousands of kids from all over England tried out to be the kid in the advert doing the keepy uppies, and he won, and he ended up actually having a professional career, which would have been unlikely, but
you
know.
What I was going to say is that's going to bring us to an end for today's or tonight's nightly download. If you're watching this on the replay, or if you are watching this live, big up to everyone that joined us and stuck with us for the ride. Big up to the 12th man family. We reacted to obviously the Brighton loss. We rated all the starters at least in the game. Walked through some of the big stories that are on the headlines that are swirling around Anfield, as we like to say. From Kirkez to Kwanzaa, from Wirtz to even Pepe Reina getting a shout. The wheels are turning, and whether it is transfer news or retirement news, or whether it is possible new managerial roles for some players, you heard it here. And I'd ask for you to hit us up We're going to be doing a couple of fun things that you guys will definitely look forward. I would look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be doing a team of the season now that we're coming to the end of the year. We might even do a dream scenario for if you were to be given a, we'll call it the war chest episode. So to maybe trigger some clicks there. And put your thoughts to whatever we said today. Whether you thought that we were rightfully so to say what we said about your meeting, like what you would say with Shankly as well. Tell us what you would say if you had the opportunity to sit down with dinner and he brought up the conversation on commitment to excellence. And smash the like button, obviously subscribe, all that jazz if you haven't already. We'll see you back here for the Crystal Palace preview. Also, we'll be doing a Reds roll call as we watch the final guard of honor be placed at Anfield, and hopefully watch our Liverpool Reds finally lift that trophy in front of the lads. So we will. I would like to say thank you to Brian. I guess he had to go, but thank you to Brian. Also, thank you to Lee, JK, and Alante. I see that JK and Alante are on mute, so I'll let Lee. I'll let you have the final say. If you want to say something to the people.
Yeah. Cheers to everyone in the chat. Thanks for your contributions. Thanks for being here. Had a laugh, haven't we? And we've got a game left to go now before the all-important window opens and then closes again and then opens again. But yeah, it's all good, isn't it? It's still a celebratory atmosphere, isn't it? After securing our 20th title. Took a while coming after securing 19, but we got there in the end. And that's what's important. Onwards and upwards, isn't it? Onwards
and upwards. That's
Up
right. Onwards and upwards. There you go. There you go. Up the Reds each and every time. Definitely. Until then, as always, I ask that you take care of yourselves and also take care of your loved ones in your lives. It's very important that we do so. And yeah, join us for some of these episodes. We have another episode too coming up. That's going to be a fun one. I think it should be interesting because I didn't even know that there's that many teams in England. Is absolutely astounding that there's close to 900 different clubs that have been at one time or one place part of the England pyramid. Some of the towns' names are absolutely ones that bring a smile to your face with some of the names out there. But we're going to do this whole thing about possibly saying who has the most prestige. What club has the most prestige? Since apparently Arteta wants to talk about point tallies and how his two teams are better than our teams and the likes and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there'll be so many out there that join in for that conversation. So I hope that you're one of them. And I hope that you have an incredible night, maybe possibly even an incredible morning as we hit the midnight hour. So before we all turn into Cinderella at the ball, I'm going to say I wish you all a good night and an even better tomorrow. And as always, like I said, up the Reds, my friends. Up the Reds, my fam. All right. Take care. Peace.
Good night.